So this is my first industry panel. For 30 years, I've been running companies, and I've been able to get other people to get up here and do this for me because I don't particularly enjoy doing it. But here I am. I'm here because Marina, who was supposed to be doing this, couldn't be here. And if any of you know Marina, you understand that she's kind of a controlling person. So she decided that she would create an AI avatar of herself. And
hello everyone, believe it or not, but I am an AI avatar of Marina, the CEO of Intentful. She could not join eTourism Summit this year, but thought it might be a good idea to have her AI version attend. As an AI avatar, I can speak like Marina, but I don't have her Ukrainian accent, as I am still a work in progress. My pitch sounds a little monotonous, but this will get fixed too. During the last 2 years, Intentful was honored to share use cases and recommendations on the practical applications of AI for DMOs and travel brands. Just like during the last 2 years, there are 2 key things to remember. First, you can teach AI anything, and once you have your own AI model, there are literally thousands of ways of how you can apply it. Look at me. I can be trained on things to do in San Francisco this weekend and can easily answer questions pretty much in any language. 0 translation costs involved, by the way. Start with text-only AI models, though. They are already good enough for everyday use. Second, learn how to bring together data and AI. Maximize the learnings that you have about your visitors, campaigns, and more, and accelerate it all with the power of AI. It's a totally new level of visitor engagement. Today, even as an AI version of Marina, I am super happy that we are participating in the eTourism Summit with 3 of our amazing DMO clients, Visit NC Smokies, Visit Estes Park, and Travel Santa Ana. My amazing business partner, Bruce, is here in person and will moderate the panel, so I'll sign off now. Before Bruce takes over, may I suggest we start with the introductions? Could you introduce yourself and talk about the destination you represent? Who would like to go first?
we actually drew straws, and Maria's going to go first.
Hi, everyone. Hola. I'm Maria Gonzalez, and I'm with Travel Santa Ana. Santana, how I like to say it, or Santa Ana. It is located in beautiful Southern California. If you fly into John Wayne Airport, SNA call signs, then you're in Santana, and we're 6 minutes from Anaheim at Disneyland. So many of you have probably visited there, or you could drive through us. And I love Santa Ana. Our mission is so simple, it's to share Santa Ana with the world, and that's why, for me, it's a lot of pressure to be the literal voice of Santa Ana. And we are the now 3rd largest city in Orange County. We were just beat by Irvine, and we're second, or we're after Anaheim, of course. And our vision is to elevate Santa Ana as an authentic and welcoming Orange County destination. And I think we do that really well. I just want to point out some fun facts about Santa Ana. Every person or every picture that you see in our branding, in our marketing website, no hired models. Everybody is a resident from our city, and that, I think, really helps us make it super true to who we are. And Santa Ana is a very prideful city. Some of you may know we don't have an actual logo. So if you meet me and I give you a business card, I let you choose out of one of our 5 signatures. And something that we did that's really authentic to us is we hired 5 artists to design a signature based on what the city means to them. So that's how we stay true to who we are, in which later we'll share how creating content is so important. And we're a small and mighty team of 3, so I'm the Content and Community Engagement Manager. We have our president and our director of sales, so we're a very small DMO. If you're a small DMO, raise your hand. Woo! Yay, I'm not alone. I love it. And then, yeah, thank you.
That is awesome about the logo. I did not know that. I'm Kendall. I'm creative manager for Visit Estes Park, which is the base camp for the Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado. We have a awesome outdoor adventure appeal, obviously. And yeah, that's it.
So hi, my name is Amy Newsome, and I'm the social media and content manager for Visit NC Smokies. We cover all of Haywood County, North Carolina, which is made up of 5 mountain towns, and we offer everything from the most scenic miles of the Blue Ridge Parkway to a growing elk population. I know you also have elk, but ours is better.
Whoa.
But those are in the most visited national park in the nation. We are also a small but mighty team of 4 full-time staff members whose mission is to inspire visitors through our content to want to stay and play in Haywood County and make it their home for outdoor adventure in Western North Carolina. But I'm excited to join these ladies on this panel today and talk about our journey so far with AI.
Cool. All right. That's it. We're done. Actually, let's talk about the start of this journey. You are different DMOs, different sizes. What did it take to start adapting AI? What was the inspiration that made you pull the trigger, take the leap, make the jump? Kendall?
Yeah. Kara actually saw it last year at eTourism, and like a lot of CEOs they were talking about yesterday was spamming us back home, talking about all the crazy ideas that we needed to implement. And so she came back and we gave us this assignment of trying out a different AI tool every week, and nothing productive needed to come from it, which was such a relief for me because I was scared. And so we just got to play every week and let her know what we found. So yeah, we were doing some pretty dumb prompts, but that is how we kind of dismantled that fear.
And it was everybody in the organization or just
Everyone.
the marketing department?
Everyone, and that was what was so cool about it is we figured out how everyone could use AI to help them.
Cool. Amy?
So actually, Intentful inspired us to try AI at our DMO. I promise I'm not pitching or anything, but you guys have your cowbells. But I'll tell y'all a story. So my first eTourism was 3 years ago in Orlando, and that's where I saw Marina speak for the first time, and not the AI version of her. But she really inspired me to start trying those tools at an early, before ChatGPT was even launched, to start thinking about it. But then last year when she was unveiling Happy Places tool, I was literally texting my coworkers like, we need to get on this, and basically it was FOMO and I didn't want us to get left behind. So
How difficult was that convincing your coworkers to let's do this?
it didn't take too long. I'm pretty persuasive.
I just want to add, so I was here last year when Marina unveiled, she showed us what Happy Places could do for your destination. And basically, you'll hear about it later, but it's a trained model that it just knows your destination, and it could do really awesome things, and from translation to content creation to SEO ranking to writing metadata and creating, outlines for things. And being a small and mighty team of 3, I feel, our team is empowered to basically come up with a wish list towards the end of the year when we're getting ready for budget planning for next year. So I added Happy Places to my wish list. I brought it up to my president. It did not take a lot of convincing. She's like, if you think it's gonna help you, and yeah, it's pretty much like my sidekick or wingman, winggirl. It's still very, I'm the human, controlling it, and it's just nice to have something to inspire me or guide me.
Yeah, we always refer to the AI as our robot or the robot, and it's definitely a companion type. It's important because the robots will at one point take over the world, that you develop a friendly relationship with them from the start. So just that little bit of advice.
And I love the name Happy Places. It just has a positive spin on it.
So any fears? I mean, we've all seen the Terminator slide presentations that happen, or trash talking AI from other panelists in other sessions. Any fears that your team had about making the step, or once the journey got started? Amy, you want to go first?
So like I said before, at the 2022 conference, AI was still not yet unveiled to the masses yet, and it wasn't until later that year that ChatGPT had launched. Once that started coming to the forefront of news headlines, I had more legs on to make my case that this is something that my small team needed. And in between the time of launch and last year's eTourism, I was playing around with different tools, but I never really felt like it was giving me the outputs that I wanted. Enter Happy Places, a generative AI tool specific to DMOs, and that's when I felt like all of my fears were kind of dispelled. I finally had a tool that had everything in it that was specific to the tourism industry.
Kendall?
Yeah, I mean, I think right off the bat, like probably most people, we were all scared it was going to take our jobs. And then I think after playing with it week after week, and after we got Happy Places, realized that it is like a true partnership between the two people, or me and the robot, not a person. Yeah, well, they're getting too real.
It's happening.
No, but yeah, really just viewing it as a partnership, like realizing that AI can't do what I can do, and I can't do what AI can do, and truly crafting it like that.
And you? Any fears that you had to combat?
Fears, just, I mean, playing around with ChatGPT and all of that. You know, you pull things and it tells you this restaurant is open, and it turns out that restaurant does not even exist, or it's like some other third world country, and you're like, no. So Happy Places came along, and it kind of put up some, you know, safeguards. So that's been good so far. I actually had a positive experience with AI prior to this, so I'm like, it's gonna work. And it's, I was just messing around for my street in Santa Ana. Our city is over 150, you know, years old, and we had this like really cracked street or sidewalk, and I'm like, okay, can you write a really concerning letter to my local politician so he can fix the street? And I kid you not, I used, you know, the robot, and I was nice to it. Within 20 minutes, and it's true, 20 minutes, we had people outside taking pictures, and I got the street fixed thanks to the robot.
Wow. That's amazing testimonial. Hadn't heard that one before. Okay, so you all use our Intentful's Happy Places product for content creation, and you're in different stages in the adoption journey. What tangible benefits have you observed since implementing AI? I think we'll start with you, Kendall. Do you want to use the slides for this one? Or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so I use Happy Places in a few different ways. The first one, we use it to help us write a blog, and it does take a lot of prompting, and you have to know how to speak to it kindly. And so, yeah, you see the prompts on the one side and then the blog on the right, and that is definitely not like a boom, boom situation. Like, there's a lot more crafting that goes into it, so we like to use it to help us build an outline or to fill out my outline. It really helps my writer's block and to, like, get started on these projects. So that's the blog. And then I think we also use the repurpose tool on Happy Places, especially being a small destination. You know, we only have so many coffee shops, and we talk about them a lot. So how can we talk about them in different ways and on different platforms? So we use that repurpose tool to kind of help give us ideas about a new angle to talk about. And then another cool thing on Happy Places that I really like, especially with my creative brain, it's not just automatically thinking about SEO, because I like, you know, a fluffy title when that's not maybe the most helpful. So I really lean on Intentful for SEO purposes and SEO ideas and blog titles specifically. So that's been really helpful.
Amy?
Yeah, we use it in a similar fashion as Kendall. Another way that we've used it is in visitor guide content. Being a small team, there's only so many hours in the day to craft a whole visitor guide that we produce annually, but this example is a Paws and Peaks itinerary, which AI came up with that very cute, witty name, and I knew we are a dog-friendly destination, and people are always asking things to do with your dogs in the area. So I put in that I wanted morning, evening, and afternoon activities, and put in a few key partners and places in our area, like the Smoky Mountain Dog Bakery and Frog Level Brewing Company, just to make sure places in our area were represented. And I was very pleased with the output, but as Kendall said, we still need that human component to check our work and make sure that everything's accurate.
Yeah, it's something that we have said from day one, from the very first time we started talking about AI 2 years ago, and it's actually in your end user license agreement, so you may not have read that fine print, but we encourage that there is human interaction with the content, with the process, that you check the content before you publish it, but also you want to make sure, not just for a factual basis, because we've kind of helped to amplify that issue by having the AI trained on your destination and building a knowledge base, but you know, your style and your message needs a human nuance. We're humans talking to humans, and AI is a tool to help us do that more efficiently, more effectively, but still needs the human touch. It's just a really important part of that.
For sure.
Maria?
Yes, and I'm fairly new to Happy Places. We just signed on at the beginning of this year, and something that's unique about my destination, we're one of the fairly new DMOs out there. We were founded 3 years ago, and yeah, so it's gonna be my 2-year anniversary coming up. Yay! But something that's really special is I get to come into this role creating everything from scratch. So that's a lot of work. We didn't even have a brand, and we had a very extensive brand analysis involving our stakeholders and residents, and I was one of the people that was, I'm a resident of Santa Ana. I was interviewed, and it was a really thought out project and process. So now one of the challenges is there's never been one organization that organizes all the information in one place. And a lot of, being an old city, we have a lot of mom and pop shops that don't have any marketing, they don't have any website, they rely on word of mouth. And a good example of that is Calle Cuatro, which is 4th Street. It's in our historic downtown. There's a lot of quinceañera shops. There are, lots of beautiful bridal dresses and, Sweet 16 dresses, all of that. And as you can imagine, these are people, it's the American dream stories. They come from Mexico and they open their store shop and they don't have a website. So what does AI help me do is create listings that can help them rank and help us rank higher. And then sometimes I do interview. I love interviewing our small business owners, and they're scared. They're like, are you the IRS? Are you, what do you want? I don't need help. I don't want to be listed on your website for free. And it's like, no, this is a service to our visitors, so they could find you, and that's how AI helps me.
That's interesting, yeah. It's not the IRS. You need that T-shirt. So how has AI impacted your team? Has it necessitated upskilling or changes in workflows?
Yeah, so myself and my marketing manager, we both use AI pretty much every day. It has definitely streamlined our workflow. We also just hired a part-time digital event and marketing assistant, and she uses the tool for crafting events and business listings, which Happy Places actually has a tool just specific to that. which is great for keeping up with partner listings and everything, because oftentimes they don't come to us with the content about their event or their business, so it's kind of like coming up with it from scratch. So it's been very helpful and saved us a whole lot of time.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite part about it, is that our whole team can use it, and it's really armed our community relations team to create content, and especially if they have a request that maybe our marketing team doesn't have like the immediate bandwidth for, they can really, use Intentful to get it off the ground and then bring it to us at the final stages to push it over the finish line. So it's been really cool to see the community relations team get more involved in content.
So before it was more siloed, and now it's more collaborative.
Totally. And we trust the community relations team because, they're obviously experts on our destination, but also Happy Places, scrapes our website. So it's all,
Right.
yeah, definitely a lot of trust there.
I just want to give a shout out to Atlanta. They basically, you heard it before, they create content specifically in Spanish for the visitors, and not vice versa. And that's something that Happy Places helps me with, and it's so incredible. So I'm a native Spanish speaker, and not the Google Translate. No, that's awful. But at the same time, like, I don't know all the proper ways to write, and I could craft with AI in Spanish. Like, this is one of the most searched things on our website, thanks to, well, can I give Simple View a shout out? I have a really great relationship with our SEO person, and they're like, hey, you're ranking really high for what are the best barras or bars in Santa Ana, and there's no content. So what do? I take that, I create the best bars in Santa Ana, like in Spanish, boom, that's like super easy, and you guys can do that too, without using AI, or, this can amplify it.
So this is sort of a 10-pound gorilla question. Do you think AI has the potential to disrupt the DMO landscape in the future? If so, how?
So I don't know if I'd use the word disrupt, but I do feel like some may get left behind. If they don't hop on the train, you may get left behind at the station. I feel like we were kind of one of your first clients as well, and we knew the value of it early on, and I think especially for smaller DMOs, I hope that you're inspired after this session to start playing around with it and just do it.
Yeah, I think it already has disrupted it a bit, but I think that is like the most constant thing that we can expect to keep happening. But I think that like having that brand trust at your core is more important now than ever, if you are going to dive into the AI world.
Anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Okay. Yeah, I have lived through a couple centuries myself, and I've seen some disruptions, and I think the internet was a disruption, a huge disruption that was impacted every industry, but I think DMOs as well is the new way to market yourself, and it was sort of a reaction to the online travel agencies as well. So we got to be playing in the same, ballpark at least, or we're not going to get the advantage of all these extra visitors. I think that AI is not so much disruptive. I mean, I know that there's a lot of apprehension about it, and because it came up so fast and it seems so powerful and magical, but that it's really more of a helper, more than anything else. It helps you create more content. It helps you do more analysis faster. It's like a super capable, very well-trained, doesn't talk back to you, won't ask for a raise employee. So that's if that's disruption, then yes, it's disrupting.
And what a fun way to get creative. Like, try to think about how you can use AI in new ways too. And I think that's a really fun opportunity.
That's, I think, question number 8 or 9. But anyway, so what advice would you give to DMOs considering the adoption of AI? Let's start with you, Maria.
One is, don't be afraid to try it. I mean, it's not for everyone. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, hey, at least you tried it, right? Kind of like when you play in the slot machines over here. If you don't play, I mean, you may not win. So don't be afraid to try it.
Yeah, I think for me, it'd be like, don't rely on it to do all your work for you. It's really made us all like so much faster but still churning out like such high quality work at the same time. It's been really cool to see those two things work together. So
I think everyone has a different experience with it. For us, our main goal was to refresh our current existing content and improve that, but also create new content. But for someone else, they may want to use AI for generating images, which is not something we use it for, but it's definitely good for, we were talking at dinner yesterday, for like sketching or like planning out something or envisioning a destination in a different way. But there's definitely so many tools out there that you can pull from for different marketing goals.
I find it to be a really good brainstorming partner. You know, just, you have some ideas and ask the robot to flesh them out a little bit more, and also asking the robot for some ideas. And, doesn't mean that they're going to replace us yet, but it does mean that you've got a companion to help work through your problems and challenges and get your job done. How has, and I'm reading from cards because Marina gave me instructions on what questions, so just so you understand how our company organization is. How has AI affected your engagement and relationship with partners like hotels, attractions, and local businesses?
this was really unexpected for us. And another one of my favorite things I think about implementing AI. So we use Happy Places for internal, and then we have an external one through GuideGeek. And I think that using these two tools, we've recognized some like content gaps. And so we've used Intentful to fill them, but it's also provided opportunities for us to reach out to our stakeholders and get all of their business information updated, and then just provides another touch point with them, and we can create really unique content for them so that our AI tools perform better. And then it's an opportunity to teach them about AI as well.
I think some of our partners are already using it, and they kind of like whisper to me at meetings. They're like, "Are you using AI?" I'm like, "Yeah, are you?" It's like a secret thing, but I think in the next few years we're all going to be using it, and it's not going to be so like taboo anymore. But AI has definitely allowed us to craft more frequent partner emails. We started a Facebook partner, just a Facebook page to make sure that we're staying on top of mind with partners. And we definitely use AI for crafting those emails and those constant email communications with our partners. I also use it to respond to social media comments, because we all know that there's always a negative Nelly on social media, so just being able to respond in a friendlier tone, I definitely am like, can you say this in a nicer fashion? Because I know what I want to respond with, but can you just say it in a nicer way so I don't lose my job?
Yeah, and the advantage is that you actually get to respond that way, but don't hit send, right? And then you get the robot to say it nicer before you hit send. You?
No, I think they all touched on like some really, really great things. And for us, just it helps when our partners or stakeholders see what we're doing. We just presented at our like citywide conference, and they're like, "Wow, so tourism does matter. Tourism does have an impact." And for me, that has been the greatest like success story, and just people get what you do, because for the most part, like people are like, "Wait, you sell what? You're what?" And we're like, "No, we're a destination marketing organization. We market you." So it's a lot of educating, but at the same time, now, like, we have this tool and we're amplifying, and elevating, our city and sharing it with the world. So that's how it helps us.
I guess it's also a part of being a new DMO in an old city, right?
Yes.
So we got a little bit of this earlier when you use the robot to fix your sidewalk. But can you share any unique or innovative ways you've utilized AI beyond its standard capabilities? So I'm going to go to you, Kendall.
Yeah, I was actually talking to someone last night. He was a creative director, and he was saying that he uses AI in general in a reverse way to have it quiz him on ask him questions about what he would need to put in a creative brief, just to make sure that he has all of those things hit. And I thought that was a really interesting way to use AI. And then another creative director friend I have was saying that he uses it to storyboard the whole process and to really create that understanding between the client and how much better that's made the process.
Cool.
So that's not how I use it, but I'm going to use it like that now.
Great.
I feel like one of the different ways that I use it is, well, some people may use it this way, but for podcast questions and scripts. We started a podcast about a year ago, and that's how I come up with my intros and how to introduce people, and that has been very helpful and a different way to do that. I have also, I feel like people don't know that there's SEO capabilities within AI. So Happy Places will help you determine what keywords you should be ranking for, and then you can plug it into their tool to repurpose that content in a blog using those keywords.
Another AI tool that I use that you should not sleep on is I love Adobe, and right now I'm in Adobe beta tester for their Adobe Express. It's pretty much, oh my gosh, I don't know. It's something on steroids. I don't know how to describe it, but it's integrated with, let's say, like TikTok, and it literally gives you a script or like a narration or a whole brainstorm of what kind of reel you want to create. You just use the prompt, and it gives you really awesome captions or narration and ideas, and it could even pull up some B-roll, or you actually can put in your own B-roll, which is really nice. And if some of you use Canva, it's pretty much Canva, but on steroids, and you can do so much more with it. So use your Adobe, products. It's really cool.
Yeah, we purposely didn't focus on images for Happy Places and Intentful because it is a kind of a landmine of legal issues and quality issues and copyright infringement. However, Adobe, anybody who ever asks, I always recommend that they check out Adobe, because they're taking a route that is probably the safest with regard to not using copyrighted material outside of its usage restrictions, and it's probably the best way to explore image creation and image manipulation using AI. We're focused on the text ourselves because we believe that is where information lies. That's how people get information about when is a store open, or when is the attraction close, or what, just general information. It's also for SEO purposes. It's how the search engine bots index and discover your site and try to determine what the page is about. It's by reading 300 words on that page and understanding what that page is about, what your site is about. So this is why it's so important to create relevant content and create it at scale so that you have a lot of those pages. So it looks like, I always thought this was a 30-minute session, but it looks like it was a 45-minute session. So we have time for questions and answers, or at least questions. I don't know if I can answer everything. Does anybody have anything that they'd like to ask the panelists about their experience using AI, or ask me about what Marina thinks? Anyone?
So you talked about utilizing AI to create content. Can you guys talk a little bit about utilizing AI for public-facing services, like on your website, like more of like a replacement of like visitor center and things like that?
Sure. So we have another product at Intentful called Know It All that is I hate using this term, like a chatbot. It's an AI assistant. It is trained on the data for your DMO, so either through scraping your website and or by you providing materials to upload. And then it is able to answer questions in any language and any questions. We also taught the AI to say, I don't know, so that it doesn't make up lies or tell you about a restaurant that closed 20 years ago or is actually in a different state. And it's actually on we just released it very recently, and visitstockton.org has it on their website, and you can check it out. You can literally ask any question in any language, and it gives you answers. You can have a whole conversation with it, ask about what to do next weekend, what are some family-friendly restaurants, any question at all. It doesn't have any scripted questions or scripted answers. It's as if you're talking to somebody who knows everything about Visit Stockton. And I think Visit Estes also, when they started with Happy Places, they also started with another AI company called Moderator or
Guide Geek through
Guide
Moderator
Geek,
Network,
right?
yep.
And so Kendall's going to talk about that.
Yeah, so we launched Rocky Mountain Roamer, which is our consumer-facing tool. And I think that the coolest part about it for me, I think Justin shared yesterday some of the questions that they got, are seeing what people are actually asking and really using that information to build out our content more. I think it's such like a direct way to see what people are trying to find on our website. And it has provided a lot of cool opportunities and things that we don't normally think about sometimes to add to our website.
Forgot it. There we go. Matador Network isn't here, so this doesn't have to be like a cowbell thing unless you really want to bring the cowbell. But I would check out guidegeek.com if I were you guys, because like their mothership of Guide Geek is really interesting. So you could like test out your destination and see like what it knows about your destination. And then on the flip side, when you do a white label version like we have with Rocky Mountain Roamer, we train it. And we went through like lots of failures of that, where like our board members would figure out like it didn't know about their business and be like, oh, but like Kendall said, it was a really good opportunity to then go back and train it. And then you can go into the back end at the same time that someone is having a conversation and be human. So you can be jointly having a conversation while the robot is. So I imagine, like speaking of disruption, like a time period where you have an AI person in your office whose whole job is to monitor the conversations and implement that human piece. And where's the guy from Visit Milwaukee? Because I feel like the poor guy, like he wasn't like a hater on AI, but yes, like he's not an AI hater. But he was like, I'm a journalist as well, so I appreciated that. Your point was, when you marry the human piece with the robot, that's different than what Sports Illustrated did, and they just like were running stories without anybody looking at it.
Right.
And that's where the beauty of the marriage is between the two, which is also where it gets super creepy, because you've seen how people are dating AI bots now. Now, who wants to ask a question about that?
So one of the important takeaway here is the most important way to use AI is with a trained AI. That it's very, very, very important to train the AI on your destination, because otherwise you're going to have a huge, huge gap in the quality of the information, in the output that you get from the AI. It will not be very useful for you. And when you talk about public-facing AI interfaces like our know-it-all interface and GuideGeek, again, training is super important, but you also need to have a testing period where you can ask the questions yourselves internally and make sure that you're comfortable not just with the facts, but also in the style. And ask it some weird questions. We actually got a question on the live know-it-all of someone asking how to commit suicide. And the answer that came back was a referral to help centers. So it wasn't factually necessarily correct, but it was ethically correct. So these are important things to think about when you implement AI. You want to go with something that is factually correct, that understands and knows your destination, and that can only be achieved by training. And you also want something that's going to be ethical, that the large language model itself has already built in guidelines, guardrails, whatever you want to call it, so that it knows how to handle these kinds of tough questions that you hope you never get asked, but if you do get asked, you can have some confidence it's going to get answered correctly. So, any more questions? I realize I skipped a bunch of slides. Sorry.
It's okay, all my examples are just thrown out.
Thank you. In addition to like content creation and, you know, the repurposing of content, one of the things that we're looking at is also internal use of the chatbot. Say our HR department with HR questions, you know, our IT department and please unplug it and plug it back in. Like, does the Happy Place or anyone else on the panel kind of using it for those internal problems that possibly could be answered via like a chatbot?
I don't know if anybody on the panel is. Are they?
No, not specifically for that. Although I guess if a partner went on to our chatbot, we have partner pages up there, but maybe not for internal use like that.
So Intentful works, true confession here, and please don't boo me. We actually work outside of the travel industry as well. And we're doing a number of pilots with, there's a large mobile network operator in the Philippines, and we're doing several different pilots with them. They're all around knowledge base, but one of them is in the HR sector, and it is in dealing with benefits, dealing with onboarding, you know, just there's also a training program for upskilling, and all of that is going to be powered by a conversational interface. I'm not going to say a chatbot, but a conversational interface. And interestingly enough, they'd started this project with Microsoft, and it just died and didn't get anywhere. And we're now at the proof of concept phase with them and moving along. It is, it's tricky. But it's also very doable. So there's so many use cases for AI, and you know, we're here at eTourism Summit, we're just going to talk about travel. But within your own organizations, there are going to be other use cases. And we generally advise people, companies, to have internal workshops so that all stakeholders can have a chance to see what the tools are and how they can use them, because it will spawn ideas of new ways to use it, new ways to do their jobs, and it will help, you know, bring efficiencies throughout the whole organization. And look, it's at 0. We did it. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, everybody.